we make progress. Her Honor, the Vice President's question time. The Honorable Member for Bangweulu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I ask the question to Madam Vice President, my heart is bleeding and my soul devastated. Your Honor, the Vice President, immediately after the 2021 general elections, PF won 60 constituencies out of 156, of which 59 were petitioned by UPND. And out of 1,000 plus councillors, 300 of our councillors were petitioned by UPND. About 45 seats of mayors and council chairpersons were equally petitioned by UPND. Out of the
Order, honorable members. Can we also
98%.
Honorable member, this is a guide to all the members. Can we please summarize our questions so that we give chance to as many honorable members to ask questions? You may continue and summarize your question.
Out of the by-election for local council that we've had, 98% of those are induced by UPND by giving those councillors jobs. This is in the quest. This is the quest for UPND to remain alone in this house, to remain alone in local authority councils. I want to ask the Vice President to search her soul and examine her conscience as she answers my question.
What is the question, honorable member?
Madam Speaker, may I first be protected before I ask the substantive question?
Honorable member, you are protected. Please, what is the question?
Kindly ask the other members to keep quiet.
Honorable
then
member,
I'll proceed.
If you don't want to proceed under my guide, I have no option but
Madam Speaker, given the background that I've outlined, this is the record of UPND in terms of killing democracy and remaining alone in local government and in parliament. Is this the record you are proud of as a Vice President? Kindly research your soul and examine your conscience. I submit.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for his question and really do, in searching my heart, sympathize with his heartbrokenness, and indeed what happened to your soul. It is, I can't remember the words you used. He gives history to what has happened since 2021, the issues of petitions. Believe you me, Honourable, history is written just like you have done. This is what it is. The issue of petitions, one, is part of democracy. Don't see it as an abnormality. In democracy, people have a right to petition when they feel that, there is something that went wrong. UPND has been petitioning before. PF petitioned plenty MMD. Almost everybody who won in MMD 2011 was petitioned. Nobody cried foul. Because we agreed that that is part of democracy. So, Honourable, now you have gone, indeed you have given the history, but I think I've given the shortest answer that that is part of democracy. You will remember, at Chuamina, Galu, Kulumba Mbuzi.
Order, honorable members, order. Don't debate while seated. Your Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam. I am speaking to the Honorable and
The honorable members, please.
Here we should
The
try.
honorable member for Kalulushi, can you please minimize on the running commentaries? They are too loud. I am talking to the honorable member for Kalulushi. Can you please minimize your commentaries? You are too loud. Her Honor, the Vice President, you may continue.
Madam Speaker, speaking to colleagues here, who did request me to do soul searching? Yes, all the time. We should be straight. We should be straight. If it is bad, it should not have been allowed right from where it started. But this is the kind of democracy we are in. If a loser sees that there was something unfair and unlawful, they'll petition. You can't make a rule that don't petition. Let us therefore put it in the law if we don't want petitions. And the Honorable, you can go to the point of this government, of the UPND employing councillors so that we can replace them. This is the most unfair, statement out of what you have said. Because this government does not want by-elections. That's a fact. That's a fact. You'll have to give evidence that indeed somebody was given a job in order for them to lose their seat. Oh, very good. That is the evidence. It is your own interpretation. Your own people apply for jobs. When jobs are advertised, do you know that we actually get upset? If we had a way, no PF should be getting a job. But what can we do? No councillor should be getting a job. Maybe we should make a rule here that when you have stood and elected, don't seek a job until you have run your term. But there is no such condition. So both UPND, PF councillors who apply for jobs and they qualify, they are given jobs. If they were not being given, colleagues here, they would have been saying, you are not giving jobs to PF. You are segregating, you are discriminating. What is the problem? This is the situation. Handle your situation. We will do the right thing all the time. If you have seen something wrong with yourselves, find a way. I don't want to go too far. Find a solution to keep your party strong. It has nothing to do with us. Councillors have a right to resign, they have a right to find jobs, whether they are UPND or PF or whichever, even independents. We are not enjoying that, but that's the law. So we are not looking to eliminate anybody, Honorable. Let us work together. I could say a lot of things about you, but that's okay. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Sinazongwe.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much for allowing the people of Sinazongwe to ask her Honor, the Vice President, a question. First, Madam Speaker, allow the people of Sinazongwe to thank the New Dawn administration for having engaged commercial farmers to grow winter maize. At least the harvests are being seen, Madam Speaker, to say indeed the New Dawn government is fighting hunger due to the drought that we experienced in 2023-2024 farming season. In the same vein, Madam Speaker, the people of Sinazongwe would like to find out from her Honor, the Vice President. Did the government engage commercial farmers to grow seed maize or millet so that we don't run out of seeds as the people of Sinazongwe are very eager and anxious to participate in the 2024-2025 farming season? The availability of seed, are the people of Sinazongwe assured that there will be no shortage due to the drought that was caused? I submit.
Thank you, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Sinazongwe for that very important question of concern, because it concerns our own agriculture sector and therefore the lives and livelihoods of the Zambian people. Yes, thank you for commending government for engaging commercial farmers to grow winter maize because of what we are going through. And we have called upon even all of us here who have any little capacity. Don't undermine. If you grow 1 hectare, that will go a long way, because you will not consume that which will come from 1 hectare alone. You will sell to a few other individuals and they also survive. This is what we need to do. And indeed, the government is aware of what is happening. And the issue of seed, millet and maize and other seed crops, yes, Honourable, government has engaged, commercial farmers. And we will still continue to call upon others. Like I am told, Sidico is growing seed in Chiawa to the tune of about 400 hectares. This is what your government is doing, Honourable. You can get the comfort, and we will continue to ask other people to also get involved. Thank you, Madam.
The Honourable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given. And good morning, our Honor, the Vice President. Your Honor, recently in Kitwe, an organization called UKA had a rally where pronouncements were made by one of the key speakers to the effect that in an unlikely event that they took over power, they would engage civil servants, employing them up to 2 million. So I would like to find out from your office, Your Honor, whether this is feasible, and also the establishment of the civil service. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Kwacha, who says an organization called UKA had a rally, Freedom of Assembly. Had a rally. That's a very good thing, and we will encourage people to gather and share ideas among themselves and with the Zambian people. That is part of democracy. I like that confirmation, the fact that a rally was held. The rallies should be held as long as it works within the law, because we have our freedom to gather, and as long as it is peaceful, and as long as all the prerequisites are made, that is wonderful. But your concern is the pronouncement, one of the pronouncements, that when, if, and you said in an unlikely event, I don't know whether it was their statement or you added the unlikely. Anyway, we can agree that in the unlikely event they took over power, they would employ 3 million, 2 million. Oh, in ZNS.
The Honourable Member, you talked about the civil servants, not ZNS, isn't it?
Civil servants.
In the civil service, we can even say public service. One, you didn't say they gave us the time frame. Because if it is going to be 20 years of employing, maybe. But how long will they take to employ that? To employ the 2 million. And many of those people who are there are people who have been in government, who were promising jobs they never created. So is it tenable? I think in the student of law, Honourable Member from Kana, we will probably say these are trade paths. That is the student of law. You declared yourself a student of law. Those are called trade paths. There is nothing you can do. You can't even sue for that because it's imagination and it depends on who accepts it. You can't even hold them accountable because it is an impossibility that they are talking about because they failed to do it when they were in government. How many teachers did they employ? Let them tell us. They are good at, everybody should be good at keeping a record. I think what we should do is they should come and tell us, in our time, we employed so many policemen. In our time, we employed so many national service. In our time, we employed so many teachers. In our time, we employed so many nurses because it is civil public service. It's almost one. Don't listen. It's a trade path. Thank you.
The Honorable Member from Pika.
I'm grateful, Madam Speaker. I honor the Vice President. Government is struggling with fiscal space. You are failing to undertake capital projects. There are no medicines in hospitals. We have load shedding, and we have to depend on imported power. We have high prices of fuel. Our people are suffering. Your government has proceeded to create 9 by-elections where you are going to spend 200 million kwacha. My question to you, Madam Vice President, 200 million kwacha can actually be used to import electricity and question on the road shedding. My question to the Vice President is politics your priority over the Zambian people? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member from Pika for this very important question because it gives me an opportunity to kind of explain what the situation is like. And I am truly saying, please, when we are asking, let us not overexpose ourselves. Honorable, this is exposing yourselves. Can you start by asking me about the fiscal space? Maybe I don't understand the fiscal. I'm sure my minister here, he can even help me. Fiscal space. Today, you didn't know there was no fiscal space just 3 years ago. This is reality. Colleagues, don't ask me these questions. Honorable Member, for me, I stand here, yes, as Vice President, but I also have a persona. And therefore, to stand here and outright tell and truth will not help me. Will not help me. But for a member who belongs to a former ruling party, to start saying you are struggling with fiscal space, yes, we are. But this is not our creation. That's the point. Minister, you removed the fiscal space. Did you find fiscal space? There was none. And you are talking of projects not being completed. We have never pronounced in this house or anywhere that from now we have stopped completing projects that are below 80%. You pronounced that. How can you forget your own things, your own pronouncements? That's why I said don't overexpose yourselves. Some of these things be calm because you are reminding Zambians This government has stood here, even with the failed fiscal space that we found, we have said we will complete the project slowly as we go on, and it is happening. There was nothing. This was a pronouncement that all projects that were below 80%, they were stopped. What was the reason? Maybe it was for fun. I thought it was fiscal space. Yes, we continue to struggle, but we have improved the physical space. That's why today you have CDF. That is why today, yeah, that's money, mana. That is, sorry, Honorable. that means money. Where is it coming from? The prudent expenditure of our resources. The goodwill of the global village that have seen how seriously we are taking people's resources. You know, even the other day somebody talked to you, were talking of imported power. That shows also physical strength. Because if you don't have, how are you going to import? If we are importing, it's contradictory. Imported, it is a paradox, if the others can put it that way. We are exporting, but there is no physical space. You can't use those two things at the same time because they contradict each other. So we are importing because we don't have power. Now your concern is that there are by-elections you are creating. Did you say we are creating? We are creating by-elections which will be extremely costly. Honestly. Do you know by your behavior, you opposition PF, you are annoying the Zambian people? Who expelled? Did we expel people from here? Come on, this is a serious matter for me. Huh? It's a very serious matter. People who voted you, you come here and you start playing games. Today the president is this one, expelled. Tomorrow, now he has also fired. Honorable Kapianga, please understand some of us. It's very painful. We are democratic. We value you. Yes, I'll talk for 30 minutes. We value opposition, but the opposition is lost. Chigunya. Have you ever heard of that term? Chigunya. This is what you are doing. Chigunya? There is an insect which eats itself. Honorable Lunga, this is serious. You are eating yourselves. And we are watching. And you think we should help you. If you... No. No. He asked a question.
The Vice President, that word, is it an English word, the one you used? Kiunya?
Chigunya is a Tonga name for an insect that eats itself. Not chiringalinga. This one eats itself. This is what this opposition, particularly the PF, is doing. Eating itself. And they expect us, who are competitors, to go in and say, no. Eat yourself. You have let the Zambian people down. Yes. Come on, go and think about it. Don't take these things, lightly. This is a national issue. We have said, my president, even he has pronounced that he doesn't want by-elections. Then you start firing yourselves. So you should change the law. You are letting us down. Go and become proper opposition. Stop what you are doing. Although I'm not even supposed to cancel you. Because I should be enjoying when you are eating yourselves. We are competitors. Don't look to your competitor to help you. Madam, very bad. Huh? Who is the president? Come on.
Order, honorable members.
Be serious. Be serious.
Order. We make progress. The honorable member for Feira.
We need those questions. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Vice President.
Order. You may continue, honorable member for Feira.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Madam Vice President, for expressing your personal opinions on the question that has been asked. Now, whilst in opposition, the UPND blamed the PF government then that the causes of load shedding is as a result, we shouldn't give a reason being climate change. And in fact, I wish the Minister of Local Government was here. There is a video that is going around where the now Minister of Local Government used to say that, you know, this PF, they are failing to handle load shedding. The issues, you know, we have Chembe River there, 100 kilometers, we just get the water, we get into Kariba Dam. Now, today, you are in government. And by the unlikely event, you became, you formed government. Now, the question is, in view of those ideas of Chembe River, 100 kilometers, which were being given, things which do not exist, have you consulted the Minister of Local Government to address this issue of load shedding? Instead of you creating the by-elections, because all the expulsions were nullified. The party resolved these issues, and this was communicated, but you went ahead by manipulating this house to expel. Can you tell us, do you have solutions for the load shedding? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Feira. He premises his question, I don't know, back to what we were just handling, the issue of that, in fact, he accuses that this is personal. No, this is UPND position. We don't want by-election. Yes, we don't want. You can allow me to answer one by one, then I'll stand here answering the same question. This is a fact, Honourable Member, for Feira, that this part of the House and the entire UPND government don't want by-elections. We have many issues to handle, including the drought. So we can't be there looking for by-elections. You are bringing in things that we are not privy to. If you have a conversation between yourselves and the presiding, we are not privy to. Okay? If you have issues between the court, remember the separation of powers principle. We are not part of what, when you take yourselves to court and the ruling is found and you go to legislature, why are you bringing UPND in this matter? UPND is in the executive, so talk about the executive. What is happening there is not ours. Council, separation of powers. Even if we wanted you to come, those honorables to come back, we have no power. We don't have. The power is in your hands, it's in the judiciary and the legislature. So please don't cry, just work on that. Climate change is the real issue here. And that is what we are talking about. I will not talk about what is going around because I haven't seen it. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Nalolo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, good morning. Just to remind you, the second largest opposition party in the House is intact. Your Honor, the Vice President, Your Honor, the Vice President, the 2024 budget, which was paged at 177 billion kwacha, had a 79% component of local revenue funding. 79% of 177 billion, which is about 140 billion, is supposed to be funded by local revenue collection. Now, for the last few months, ZRA has continued to register a huge drop in local revenue collection, and the supplementary budget that will be before this House indicates 9% revenue collection. Now, Your Honor, Vice President, my concern is that while we are undertaking debt restructuring, our debt is swelling because an additional 16 billion kwacha being borrowed will finance the supplementary budget, which increases our debt profile to $1.6 billion. How are we going to resolve this issue? I know it's a legacy issue, but do you have immediate measures to manage the swelling debt in the midst of a debt restructuring process? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Nalolo, very serious concern, and indeed that's an issue that should be looked at. But the opportunity today is that we have the supplementary. I think the Minister would even handle your answer better than I would. Honestly, these are issues that have a lot to do with the technical issue. I know about restructuring, but I think the in-depth answer would come later today because we have the supplementary budget, which indicates you are talking of the local revenue dropping as by record. I am sure the factors attributing to such a scenario will probably be given as we debate this. Very serious matter, but I'm sure you will explain because you have to look at what of the expenditure, what is happening, what of the actual repayment of the loans, what is happening. All these factors must be put in, and we have an opportunity today as we debate the supplementary budget. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the background is that MSL, Medical Stores Limited, used to supply drugs, and it was not very effective. Right now, ZAMSA is the one which is distributing drugs, and the stock levels in hospitals and clinics in Kalabo has increased. I want to get a comment from Her Honor the Vice President. Wouldn't the government desire to dismantle district medical bases and resort to supplying drugs direct to health centers instead of stocking drugs at the district base? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Kalabo, which is a non-urban district, like Kaputa. Here, don't go as rural, eh? we will cry. Yeah, I do understand. I think maybe your reasoning is that if ZAMSA could take directly to the health facilities, probably it would reduce on the pilfering because it is direct accountability. But I don't think this is something that can easily be done. Even just from ZAMSA, to the centers, every center may be difficult. So the district becomes a buffer And even under this, I think accountability, which may be your concern, can still be tackled. But it is a little technical. We need to listen to health. Why is it that we do this? But remember, why do we have the districts? In every situation, I think the district has officials in all the ministries, so that those are the ones that are interacting with the ground, so that the information is better received and better given. But I don't know. We can find out a little more on that. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Lufubu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I honor the Vice President. The people of Lufubu are geared to farm this year. Now, the problem is there is only a few number of people who are on feasible and security pack. The rest, they buy fertilizer for themselves. Is there any program by the government to reduce the cost of fertilizer this year? At least to 500 or below 500 kwacha. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honorable Member for Lufubu, who says the people of Lufubu are geared to farm, but the hindrance is that very few people are on FISIP, and he said food security, I don't know whether it is the one under community. Honorable Member, government has also introduced, you should not forget, and we should go and sensitize our people that there is the credit window where people can go to. To suggest that the cost of fertilizer is reduced by government, you agree also? I think I used to see an advert, madam, a few years ago. I don't know whether it still exists. There was, I always said, what does it mean? A beautiful advert of selling tires here in Zambia. They were selling tires, and the advert went, Chefe ni Mutengo. Chefe ni Mutengo. I'm saying, do you just wake up and say, reduce the price? I think there are factors that go to creating the commodity. Can you imagine we just go and say, hey, you reduce prices. Reduce prices. You are a businessman. Can that work? So what you are saying is, do you know that this FISIP is actually government paying for the people? It's a social welfare issue. So you are saying increase social welfare. I don't think it is something that can quickly be done, just like you are saying. It is important that we introduce people to credit window. You will see under credit window that people will prosper. People will look after their own money. They will be more careful because this will be their money that they'll pay back and create wealth for themselves. We will continue to support the vulnerable, but it's not the way of life. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Kantanchi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, it's unfortunate that 60 years into our independence, the cost of mealie meal has always been a thorn to every government from UNIP. Now, in the previous government, there were efforts that were made, an investment of close to $288 million to have solar milling plants dotted around almost every constituency to try and encourage people to mill their maize mill within the various localities. This was thought to be one of the ways that can help
in reducing the cost of mealie meal. I would like to find out from you whether the New Dawn government has taken a keen interest in trying to establish whether these particular solar milling plants are functioning, especially that the taxpayer right now is owing close to $288 million. And again, the New Dawn has also announced that it wants to invest 10 milling plants in almost all the provincial centers. So in terms of looking at prudence of expenditure, has government carefully looked into whether these are being used optimally before any extra money can be spent on any new investment to try and curb this cost of mealie meal, which has been a problem for almost every government up to this date, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Kantanshi for a very important observation and question. Yes, the cost of mealie meal is still a challenge. And the Honourable, you refer to the milling plants. We see them blue all over the place. I think the intention was very good. And even now, if these were functional, you can imagine the cost of mealie meal, because people would have to buy maize rather than mealie meal, which we are encouraging even now, because the cost of maize is far much better than the cost of mealie meal. Except the very good intention, most of them, as you have seen, came without batteries. We would want to use those. It would be extremely helpful, because even sometimes the transportation of mealie meal adds to the cost of mealie meal. But these came without batteries. Yes, we will continue to see how the cost of mealie meal can be reduced, by having plants nearer to the people. And if this can work, if there is any way, I don't know whether the Minister of Medium and Small can do something to make this functional, it would be helpful. But I think here, when we find issues like this nature, Honourable, it's also important to walk over to the offices and say, this is the idea. This is the way we would move together, that there is a better idea than what we are doing now. Because indeed, this is a staple food for now, and we must find the cost. It has eluded us all the time. But this time, we thought we empower the farmer. And then more production will mean also some kind of supply and demand would be at play. I may not have heard everything you said because the minister was also talking. I'm sorry, this is the little I understood. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Chikankata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, the tourism sector was the worst hit sector during the COVID-19, and arguably it has been hit by the road shedding. Your Honor, the Vice President, is the listening UPND government considering this industry following the directive by the President to exempt schools and hospitals in this country? I submit.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I hope I heard although the issue was on tourism, that it was worst hit during COVID, and also now hit by load shedding. I think that's the observation. But the question is on the directive of the President as to whether load shedding should not be allowed to affect schools, health, and other institutions. And now, is it
in fact,
included?
Your Honor, the Vice President, there is a ministerial statement coming after your segment on the same by the Minister of Energy, the directive by the President. in line with what is happening on the load shedding, management of load shedding. So we can excuse our honor, the Vice President. We wait for the ministerial statement. Maybe the last member, the honorable member for Solwezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for remembering me that I should indeed be the last person to ask Her Honor the Vice President a question. Your Honor the Vice President, before UPND came to power, we saw a number of civil servants, employees in government and quasi-government institutions being retired in national interest on flimsy grounds that they were UPND sympathizers. And when we came into power, these people, they appealed through the cabinet for their jobs, and quite a number have not yet been heard. When are we seeing these people appealed after being dismissed in national interests on the basis of being UPND sympathizers coming back to their work? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Solwezi East for that important question. Especially that time is finishing, Madam. I would like to respond that to this. I would say something that we must all be aware of, that not everybody, yes, I don't know why they use the national interest. I really don't understand, because public interest and national interest were two different things. But they were fired in national interest. And like you have said, Honorable, these people did come back, and not come back to work. They did put in complaints. They wrote to the secretary, to the cabinet. And the issue cannot be a pronouncement on all of them. It was case by case. Because people will use also to say, no, they victimized me, when in fact not. Even now, some people who are committing wrong things in civil service, they are saying, no, because I'm PF. So those things must be looked at case by case. And some of them, yes, have come back. Some of them, they have upheld the decision of the former regime. So we can't say when, because it will not be done at the same time. It is being done, and it's gradual, and somebody has to show convincing reasons as to why they believed that they were fired because they were UPND. It is still going on. Thank you.
Thank you so much.